everyone, I'm JP and this is my TV. In this video, I will talk about my learning experience from one of my favorite authors, Dr. Brené Brown. She has talked extensively about relationships, authenticity, and more importantly, vulnerability. Here in this video, I will talk about the top 3 insights by Dr. Brown and how that relates to all our personal experiences. But before that, last Monday, October 5, 2020, we just hit our first 100 subscribers just after 3 days of launching the JaypeeTV channel. We have plenty of reason to celebrate this milestone as your support is important to us. Thank you for choosing to grow with us. If you are new in this channel, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified of the amazing videos that will come your way. We first launched JaypeeTV. We initially prepared a list of 10 topics that we will cover for our first month. Today's video is listed 6th out of the 10th, but we decided to advance this to number 2. Why? Because in the middle of the global pandemic we are all experiencing, the zero handshakes, avoiding large crowds, the hesitancy in hugging, the shutdown of offices and schools gives rise to the issue of human connectedness. I first learned about Dr. Brown watching her TED Talk, and admittedly at first, I wasn't sure about the quality of the speaker. I did not recognize her name, and many of the talks I've heard and the books I've read about connection simply revolved on a similar theme, that human connection makes us feel happy and loved. But Dr. Brown was different, and her words were comparatively unique, and I was hooked by the simplicity and authenticity of her language and message. Let me share to you her message in 3 short points. First, why are we afraid to be seen, to be deeply seen, telling our true stories? And the quick answer to this is because of our fear of what breaks and untangles human connections. It's a big and painful word, shame. And she says, shame is easily understood as our fear of disconnection. We've all been there and we all have it. That feeling that begs, am I worthy? Am I enough? And the thing that underpins this feeling of shame is excruciating vulnerability. It's the scary idea that in order for real, authentic human connection to happen, we must first allow ourselves to be seen, to be deeply seen. And that can be quite scary because today there is intense societal pressures to conform, to be, to look perfect. The fight has become about who has the most money, the thinnest ideal wig, the strengths, the smarts, the style, the power. It has become all about external beauty, about what we have and what we do not have in our lives. And I say this from personal experience. When we get addicted with seeking the approval of others, we do crazy things so we feel in and not out with the crowd. But there is a simple and elegant antidote to this, which brings us to Dr. Brown's second insight. Courage. The courage to be imperfect and love ourselves with our whole hearts. Because as it turns out, we cannot practice compassion with others without first being kind to ourselves. The courage to say, I love you first. The willingness to invest in a relationship with no guarantees that it may or may not work. The bravery of saying, I'm sorry, how do I fix it? I have learned that vulnerability is not easy, and it's not something that will happen overnight, but it is in the simplest choices that we make every day that will diffuse any feelings of insecurities and shame. Because with the act of showing up, of giving, of acknowledging, of loving first comes the risk of getting hurt. But when we cultivate vulnerability, we must practice and maximize self-compassion and the feeling of worthiness. It's taking that long walk from "what will people say" to "I am enough. I am worthy of love and belonging." Finally, to Dr. Brown's third insight, how do we find our way back to each other? To love someone fiercely, to believe in something with your whole heart, to celebrate life with gratitude despite the challenges, to lean into the discomfort of feeling, because to feel is human, and our humanity includes vulnerability. To believe that vulnerability is a weakness forecloses our emotional lives, thinking that the costs will be too high to pay, thereby walking away from the very thing that gives purpose and meaning to living. In the end, Dr. Brené Brown said, vulnerability is the birthplace of joy, belonging, courage, accountability, empathy, authenticity. If we want greater clarity into our life's purpose, vulnerability is the path. Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our lives. Because true belonging only happens when we present our true, authentic, and imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. So let's cultivate love, choose human connection, and allow our powerful selves to be deeply seen.